Well, everybody out there, got a different shirt on today. I've decided I'm really jealous. I'm jealous of Dabu 7. Okay, Dabu 7, and he's a great guy. For the most part, I've only found a few times I could ever disagree with him. But on June 25th, Dabu 7 did a expose on the FBI, and they're creating and foiling their own plot with Bill Keebler. Okay, well, I did one like the next day, got a whole lot more information, and I don't even have 1/10 of his he's got. He's got like 20,000 views. I've got like 800, and I got a lot more information than he's got. Oh well, hey, you know what? Let's get the information out there. That's all that really matters. So I got to get over myself, get over my jealousies and all my envies, you know. And I'm a lot better actor than he is too. I don't even think you even see the guy, you know. Okay, enough of that. Anyhow, back to Bill Keebler. This whole thing has just kind of dropped off the radar screen with Bill Keebler, and I want to bring it back. It needs to be out in front of everybody, because Bill Keebler is still in prison, denied his constitutional rights, denied bail, and they have nothing. The only thing they got is a little bit of fabricated evidence by these two supposed FBI agents. You know, they're just scumbags. They got a long history. They got a rap sheet that's unbelievable between the two of them. Okay, and somehow they got recruited by the FBI. Is that any big surprise? You know, they always get people to take the fall. They set those people up too, because their lives are worthless, their lives are miserable. They've got a long rap sheet, and the FBI says, "Hey, you want to come work for us? We'll make you famous." Okay, you finally do something good. So they set Bill Keebler up. You know, the judge is handling that was presented with a 6-minute video by Bill Keebler's defense attorney. You know what's on that 6-minute video? The same thing that these undercover agents provided to the federal judge, except for one little teeny thing. Supposedly, and I'd love to see this, I haven't seen it myself. Supposedly it's Bill Keebler pushing the button, but you don't see nothing else with pushing the button. Supposedly that goes to a pipe bombs over next to some cabin that the Forest Service owns, or the BLM owns. That's it. That's it. And they got the statements by these two undercover FBI agents, which I know who they are. Yeah, I know who they are. And they're lowlifes. Like I said, they got a long rap sheet. One was from New York. You know, his daddy was chief of police. He's got 79 convictions. The other one's from North Carolina, and he's got all kinds of convictions. Okay, and they got tats all over themselves, tattoos all over themselves, and they know I know who they are too. Yeah. Okay. So, anyhow, what does this judge say? Well, you know what? I don't know. I don't, you know, okay, I'm looking at a video here, and it looks like the same video that was presented to me by the undercover FBI agents, but I can't take the chance. I gotta, you know what? I gotta keep Bill Keebler in prison, deny him bail, which is in the 8th Amendment is cruel and unusual punishment. This is really bad, folks. And who's talking about it? Who's saying anything about it? You know, they can keep him there indefinitely. Did you ever hear indefinite detention in the Patriot Act? Yeah. Obama's already signed executive order too that he can enforce it. So here again, we've got another one of our citizens that is sitting in prison, denied his bail off on the most spurious of claims by this now totally discredited FBI. Mr. Comley of the FBI. He's got tons of stuff against over on Hillary. He was before Congress. He was before Congress. And he enumerated the many laws and many laws that Hillary Clinton broke. The many lies she told. Every lie is, did you know every lie is a law broken? You can't lie to Congress. You can't lie to a federal agent. You don't know how many times this woman lied? Every one is a broken law, okay? And what does Comley do? Nothing. FBI is totally discredited, you know? So, but, this judge up there in Salt Lake City, well, he goes on the word of 2 undercover FBI agents with long rap sheets. Long rap sheets. If you just see these 2 guys, I know who they are. If you just see them, you wouldn't trust them. They look like, they look like crooks. They look like criminals. Okay? It's beyond me. It is really beyond me. And who up there in Salt Lake City is talking about this? Why aren't they talking about this? You know why? Because people don't care. They don't give a crap. You know? They forgot the second greatest commandment that God ever gave to man: love your fellow man as you love yourself. And in the Book of Mormon it says, esteem your brother as yourself. Who's talking about this up there? You know? I don't care the guy's not a Mormon. He's up there where all the Mormons are. You know? This guy was doing everything he could via the militias to protect America, to protect the state of Utah. You know, a great sacrifice to himself. A great sacrifice to himself. It is just beyond me. And then people just leaving him hang out there to dry off of this garbage. It's pure garbage. Pure garbage. I've talked a lot about a lot of things here lately. I've been trying to educate people of the Constitution of the United States, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, you know, the Enclave Clause, also, you know, the Equal Footing Clause, the Property Clause, and I'm going to change directions here. Why is it that people are okay? They're okay with it that the government takes people's property away from them and puts them on the street without cause? Why are they okay with that? You know, Cliven Bundy has preemptive rights recognized by the state of Nevada, and his water and his grazing rights are recorded in Clark County, Nevada. The state of Nevada is not a territory, and yet the BLM is trying to treat the state of Nevada as a territory. We got a big, in the state of Nevada, we got this big blue flag. It says state of Nevada. It's got some, you know, it's got some gold trim there. And you know what it says? Battle-born state. S-T-A-T-E. It doesn't say territory. And yet the BLM and the federal government says we are a territory. Guess what? They say the state of Utah is a territory. And Wyoming, and Idaho, and Montana, and Colorado, and California, and Oregon, and Arizona, and New Mexico. We're all territories. They don't recognize statehood. They say they own all the property, as it says in the Equal Footing Clause, that they make all the laws jurisdiction, and they got this different interpretation of the whole thing. I'm bringing this up because how ridiculous is that? You had all these preemptive rights, okay, before they become states, that were recognized, all right? Okay, so now all of a sudden those don't count either. You have these preemptive rights, like Cliven Bundy and others had. The Hage out there in Nye County, you know, they bought those grazing rights, they bought those water rights. the state of Nevada, a sovereign state. Why is it that people are okay? They're okay with it. They're okay that the federal government can come and take people's property and kick them out on the street. You know, Cliven Bundy was the last rancher standing. There was 51 other ranchers that were destroyed by the BLM. 51 other ranchers. And people are okay that Harry Reid has a lot of that property now. It's recorded. He has a lot of that property. And he got it from the BLM. And the BLM got it from those ranchers. And people are okay with that. Harry Reid's the biggest crook that I've ever even heard of. Well, I don't know. Hillary Clinton's got him beat now. You talking about elitist? And people are okay with that. They're okay. Yeah, give it all to Harry Reid. Give it all to Hillary Clinton. Give it all to the federal government. They can give it to their elite friends. They can give it to Uranium One. Uranium One give it to the Russians, and they all get filthy rich. Hillary Clinton gets filthy rich. You know, something like $46 billion worth of uranium under that Dwight Hammond ranch. Let's talk about Dwight Hammond and Steve Hammond. Do you people realize they got him for burning 130 acres of grazing land, where he owned the grazing rights? That grass that got burnt, he actually owned that grass that got burnt. Okay? That was his grass. 130 acres. And they get him on domestic terrorism arson. And after he served his time initially, him and his son, oh no, that wasn't good enough. You didn't serve the minimum standard. Never mind the fact that the judge had that leeway. And he come right out and said 5 years for this. This is, this doesn't make sense. And then this attorney general up there, the woman, by the way, I forget her name. I'm really disliking women right now. But this attorney general, this woman, she comes back years later. No. You got to serve the full term. So they send him back for a resentencing. Okay? The full 5 years. I think it's 4 years and 9 months for the father and like 4 years for the son. Resentencing, they call it. And they say it's not double jeopardy. And I take huge issue with that, because the Constitution of the United States says that you'll not be in jeopardy of life. I think it's life, limb, or property for the same offense. But they call it resentencing. They say it's not double jeopardy. Okay. How many of you out there ever broke a law? How many? Ooh. Most of you are going to raise your hand. How would you feel if years later he called you back into court? They arrested you, drug you back into court, said, you know what? We don't think you served enough time. We don't think you paid a big enough fine. How would you feel? How would you feel about that? You'd be livid. That's what they did to Dwight and Steve Hammond. And on top of it, they put all these harsh penalties and rules on that ranch. They fined them $400,000 for 130 acres of grass which they owned that got burned out. $400,000. Meanwhile, right after that, I think a year or two after that, the BLM burned over 1 million acres in Oregon and burned down 40 houses. And that was okay. Nobody answered for that. Nobody had the answer for that. This is amazing stuff. It really is. So they fined him $400,000. He's in prison. You know what? They came up with the money. Well, they didn't come up with the money, but some of their friends, neighbors, other ranches, they came up with the money. And they paid that off. And had they not paid that off, guess who had first right of refusal? If that ranch went BK, bankrupt. Oh, the BLM. They had first right of refusal. Wow. And did you know that any transaction, any financial transaction, to maintain that ranch and keep it going? If it's $500 or more, it has to be approved by the federal government. How do you run a ranch like that? Hell, you can go and buy that much worth of groceries in a month. That's what they've done to Dwight and Stephen Hammond. And again, that's another one's fallen off the radar. You're not hearing anything about them. Now we got this Joseph Robertson. Holy cow. Man, did that guy get shafted. Unbelievable what they did to him. I found out just recently he really thought when he went in for his sentencing, and I guess this was conveyed to him by the Oath Keepers, that, okay, you're going to go in there and you're going to get time off of good behavior and you're going to be on probation. Hell no. Year and a half in prison, losing your 200 acres, $130,000 fine on one end, another $12,000 fine on the other end. When you get out, you can't have any firearms. Oh, you can't have any firearms now. You can't be around anybody's got any firearms. You can't have, hey, you can't even have a beer. Yeah, I'm serious. You can't even have a beer. And there's a few other things they threw on top of it. What the hell? And you know what? I'm sorry. There was 24 people there for that protest up there in Missoula. 24. It's 24 people. You got Stewart Rhodes and Oath Keepers right next door. You got several big militias right there. They didn't show up. I guess they all decided that Joseph Robertson is dispensable. I guess they decided they can't see it from their house, so it's not going to bother them. I guess they decided it'll never touch them. Unfortunately, I'm 1,000 miles away, and I wanted to be there. I really did. This is getting insane, people. It's getting ridiculous. It really is. Meanwhile, we got this Muslim influence and the refugees that's coming into our country. Obama he's pushing for 10,000 people. What is it like by September? 10,000 of these refugees. What do you think they're coming in here for? They've already shown what they're in here for. They join up with Black Lives Matter. They join up with the Black Panthers. They join up with these idiot protesters that are getting $15 or $16 an hour from George Soros to go out and protest. And they have access to safe houses with all kinds of armament, all kinds of ammunition and money, and they're all on welfare. What do you think they're here for? I think they're here to do battle. And we got these terror cells all over this country, everywhere. And if you draw a line from Mexico all the way up to Canada, this is interesting. And Defending Utah brought this out. You draw a line where this proposed, what is it, Trans-Pacific Partnership or whatever, goes all up to Canada. Well, you're going to go right through basically the Bundy Ranch. You come from Mexico, you go through Arizona. Oh, you just happen to go through Arizona where all these new monuments are. It's all off limits. Obama did that. And then when it comes out of the monument, there goes to some residential areas where they've already taken 300 houses by eminent domain. Then you go into the state of Nevada. Oh, guess where you go? You're on the east side of Lake Mead. You go through Golden Butte and the Bundy Ranch. Then you go up to the Virgin River Gorge. Have you seen all the new work that's been going on in the Virgin River Gorge? Oh, they've just modified that freeway big time. Defending Utah talks about that it's going to go right through Utah, and it's already a done deal. They have this secret state legislative meeting to put it through there. Okay? Defending Utah blew that. That's Bill McClintock or something like that. And his group, they blew that up. And they actually talked to one of the Chinese ambassadors that was involved in that. And poor girl, you know, she said more than she should have. So she goes back to China, and they kill her. As soon as she gets off the plane, they kill her. Okay? She said more than she should have. Then it goes from Utah and it goes into Idaho. Huh. Where do you think it goes through? It goes right by Blackfoot, Idaho. It goes through Twin Falls, Idaho. you hear about those Muslims now that got out of control there in Twin Falls? That they've been moving there? How about all the Muslims that have been moving into Utah? What are they there for? Then you go up and you go into Montana. It goes right up through Missoula. Oh, did they take Joseph Robertson's land for some other reason that nobody knows about? They had to have those 200 acres. They had to have that water, didn't they? Uh-huh. Think about that. Think about that. And then it goes up into Canada. I think there's a lot more to this. I mean, these people are not to be trusted. They're bringing these Muslims in. It's a standing army. I'm going to tell you what, it's a standing army for the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and I think I got that wrong, the name of it. It's a standing army. You know what? All through this country, they're bringing in illegals, UN troops. And when I say illegals, I'm talking about all illegals, not just people south of the border, but these refugees, these Muslims, and UN troops. And they are marshaling them. They're going to put them in positions of power and law, just like the Muslim Brotherhood that Obama did, okay? All through his cabinet. So you're going to be traveling down that road, and then the Chinese are going to have toll booths up all over the place, and you're going to be paying for it there. And if you don't like it, or if you try to stop that thing, because it's a spearhead into the sovereignty of this country, if you try to stop it, you're going to be looking down the barrel of a Muslim. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Mark my words. Thank you very much.